Hello there, AV here. Welcome to me moving out of the ATX case, the Zalman Z11 HF plus something, into the Fantech N2 Evolve Micro ATX case. Moving from the i9 390X AMD graphics card to my first NVIDIA GTX 1070 for the win. Unboxing of the Von House dual monitor gas spring desk mount system with USB port. So when originally constructing the Fantech N2 Evolve MATX water cooling build, you can check out the cards up in this corner I think, we accidentally left a kink in the tubing going from the pump res combo unit down to the GPU. The Colink Sanctuary Micro ATX case. Unboxing and an air-cooled build in the Fractal Design Focus Mini to a water-cooled build in the InWin 301. To a time where somebody thought it would be appropriate to smack a rock with a piece of steel. Anyway, welcome to an air-cooled build in the Thermaltake Versa H15. To a water-cooled build in the Fractal Design Define Mini C Tempered Glass Edition. An air-cooled build in the Cooler Master Masterbox Lite 3.1. An air-cooled build in the Colink Aviator M RGB. Water-cooled review in the Fractal Design Node 804. To the open-air test bench contender for this channel, the Thermaltake Core P3. An unboxing and an air-cooled build in the Corsair Air 240. An unboxing, mounting and testing of the Be Quiet Pure Rock Slim. So and so on. That's pretty much the first line you would have heard from pretty much every AV Techy video that I've made, apart from a few obscure ones which weren't under the banner of AV Techy, but they were about early access games. But anyway, this video is all about, well, not tech, but the Patreon campaign for the AV Techy channel. First off, before we get too far into the video, I want to stress that this channel isn't going anywhere if there isn't any external support from this Patreon campaign, so you don't need to be too worried about that. In the most cliched sense, this Patreon campaign is essentially a way for, if you are liking the quality of the videos and the content and you want to support this channel going on into the future to become something bigger than it is right now, this is just an outlet for you to be able to do that. It's a very much of a cliche of any Kickstarter or Patreon campaign, but I just want to put out and stress that there is no pressure on you to have to give to the channel, because nothing's going to change essentially from now, but if you do, then maybe things can change in a very positive way, better than it could without. So that's pretty much that. Let's carry on with the video and we'll look into the current video, or the current channel as it stands at this point. So if you've been watching the AV Techy channel for the first year when I've been doing tech videos, then I'd like to say thank you for such a fantastic year. At the start of writing this script we were 621 subscribers strong, but since then, 3 days later or so, we're at 641 subscribers, which is pretty insane. In terms of growth, where the channel stands now, in the last year we've had 550,000 minutes of watch time and 140,000 views, which is 95% of this entire channel's growth, all in that last year. If you're watching this, you're likely one of the dedicated viewers of the channel. You've probably had a conversation with me in one of the videos, or you've probably subscribed to the channel, letting me know that you have some sort of expectation and investment into the AV Techy channel. That's a huge boost to me, so I'd like to extend my gratitude, my appreciation to you, and with the statistics out of the way, we can move on to what exactly this Patreon campaign is. So the first most obvious question of this Patreon campaign is, why would the AV Techy channel need a Patreon campaign? Or why would it want one? What would it benefit from having one? Well, first things first, the current financial support for the AV Techy channel is all me. It's me working a full-time job, which is pretty much most people on Patreon probably, who are doing their personal projects. I work a 9 to 5:30 job, 5 days a week, and then every day when I come home from work, I will spend anywhere between say 3 to 4, and depending on the constraints or the pressure to get one out by the end of the week, I may work more than that each night. And then on the weekends, I will spend one day, or well, probably around about, I don't know, 16 hours doing sort of personal things with family and that sort of stuff, and then I will spend the rest of the time working on the videos, and that's completely fine, but that's just a breakdown of how the channel runs at the moment. Some people have speculated that I am some sort of rich kid who has lots of money coming in from parents and that sort of thing. That's completely not the case, and speaking of cases, you may have seen one of the many videos that I've done on case reviews. Now those reviews, speaking of, or connecting that to the time that I spend after work and during weekends, they can take, during a week, anywhere between 20 to sometimes 36 hours to complete a video, depending on the size of the video and the complexity of what I'm doing. So that's a lot of time going down into one video. Fortunately enough, I am managing to make my sort of workflow more efficient, so that time is gradually ramping down, but anywhere between 20 and 36 hours is at the moment the ballpark of what a video takes. So what has any of that got to do with the Patreon campaign? That's a fair question, and I'm going to answer that as honestly as I can. Since I've got a full-time job, the Patreon campaign is not here to fund me for my time. At the moment, this is basically just a hobby. I'm not getting any sort of part-time financial income from this, so it would be silly to treat it as anything different, in my opinion. Although it does spend a lot of time, and other people have said differently in comments, let's just treat it as a hobby for now. So what this funding would be here to do is to reinforce the current framework of the channel, which is buy a case or an object, buy a component, do the review, sell a component, and recuperate as much loss as we can from the buying to the selling procedure. So what the funding can do is make the buying procedure a little bit better, so it might part fund something that I buy in, and then the video procedure will get done as usual, and then the selling procedure might not have any losses because the funding coming through will recuperate the losses, which means that this channel is basically going to be, I call it self-sustaining because there's an external financial support. That doesn't technically mean that that's true, but it will be sustaining itself in terms of the community helping out and myself. So instead of all the lot, I will be basically parting, say, 60% of the funding towards the components, depending on the money that comes in. Maybe the support that comes in will fund the entire component. And then that means if I fund, say, half of it, then I do the video and sell it, and I lose half of the costs, then the Patreon campaign can come up and support the other half of the costs, meaning that this channel is not losing money anymore. It's just flatlining, and that's completely cool for a hobby. I mean, imagine if you could do any hobby you like and not lose any money doing it. Especially a tech channel, which generally takes quite a bit of money to run, depending on the size. But anyway, on that note, actually, I wanted to add, I have it in a script. You might see behind me there is a script. I'm doing really poorly at sticking to it, but the way I see it at the moment, the channel is running on a hobby basis, and if you think of it, there are people, between buying the case, doing the review, and selling the case, the losses in that selling of the case is likely to be as much as some people spend per week going to town and drinking. So, put it that way, it's not that bad. But then again, it probably, actually, I wonder if they spend 40 hours a week doing the drinking. So on a final note of the costs and things like that, if this channel, without any funding, were to start covering, say, the NZXT H series cases and things like that, new releases constantly, the cost in the region of, say, I don't know, £90 to £130 a pop, then this channel would very quickly become unsustainable. So that's why at the moment I have the PC case reviews, which generally can cost around £80, and I also have the CPU cooler reviews, which can cost around £20 or £30. And you can see there that the average between them is going to be around the £40 to £50 mark, depending on the expenses of each of them. But then that means that the channel becomes sustainable. But if I did get more funding, then that means that I could do things like spend £130 on a case, and then have a crazy cooler to do as well, or have another crazy case to do afterwards, and that sort of stuff, and really start targeting that, not necessarily just expensive stuff, but more interesting stuff, which generally comes in the territory of expensive. The main thing to take away from this video at the moment is that any funding you do give will make this channel cover greater things, and at some point it might be noticed by a company, and that company might want to sponsor this channel. And at that point then, the channel will become more self-sustainable, and I mean, at some point I would like to be able to say this channel doesn't need external support. That would be great. But at the moment that's not the case, and hence why I'm here. So you might be looking at this video and saying, you make good points, AV, and your videos are pretty good, and I'd like to see more of them, and I'd like to see better ones, and I'd like to see more interesting things covered. What's the deal? What's the setup? What am I going to get for my money? Unfortunately, I can't really offer you anything special. I was thinking of doing Patron exclusive images and pre-video snaps and thoughts and things like that on the stuff that I'm doing, which would be things that I could do in a matter of 10 minutes and upload to Patreon, so people get an exclusive run of things that are going on, but that might not be something you want to get popping up on your email all the time, so maybe that's not something that would be useful. Maybe if you have an idea for that, maybe if you want to say this wouldn't take you much time, I'd really like to see this if I was paying money for Patreon, let me know in the comments, which will probably be on the YouTube video of this video. Basically, if I were to separate my time from the videos I'm doing now, say that I spend, 40 hours a week doing stuff for YouTube, if I were to separate that 40 hours and say spend 35 hours on YouTube stuff and 5 hours doing exclusive Patreon stuff, this would mean then that my videos for YouTube are going to be delayed, and the stuff for the Patreon stuff will be okay, but nothing special. See, I'd have to basically, if I want to do really nice quality content, I think is really nice in most regards, the same stuff I'm doing on YouTube, I'd have to spend way more time doing the Patreon stuff, which means that I'm not producing YouTube stuff, and you can see the thing here, the channel won't grow that way, and that's a shame. So maybe in the future I can change that. Maybe in the future I can get a sponsor to come along and do things like a giveaway for my Patreon exclusive people that are watching stuff. But would a sponsor sign up to that? I don't know. But that's pretty much as it stands so far. So if you've been watching this channel for a while and you like what you see, you want to see more of it, you want to see more videos of more new, current, relevant and interesting products, and you have the disposable income. There was one guy who said that he doesn't have a full-time job, or he doesn't have a job, and he was going to give money, and that kind of, I don't know, it doesn't sound right, but I mean, it's your decision. If you have the disposable income to be able to put towards a project like this, and you want to see it grow and all that sort of stuff, then I am extremely grateful to you, and that'll be amazing. That means that this channel is going to be growing very much down to what you can do, and that's pretty cool. So in a roundabout way, I'm just trying to say I'm extremely grateful to all the support so far, and any financial support you can give the channel. The support so far has been fantastic. I've actually got a really awesome community, a really kick-ass community that has been supporting me all the way. It's actually amazing that you can create something and somebody can comment and say that they really enjoyed it, they liked these bits, they didn't like certain bits, which is just as important as the good feedback. Getting feedback that I can use to change the way that I run my videos and run my channel is key to the way this channel should be run. So that's fantastic, and I can't thank you enough for that. But anyway, I was going to be making a different video to this video on Patreon right now, because Patreon were going to be changing their pricing structure. I was going to be asking how much would you donate if you were to donate, and that would have changed the certain utility that I would use to do this crowdfunding. But unfortunately, or fortunately, then nothing changed, so I managed to be able to use Patreon, which is great. So anyway, thank you so much for your patience watching this video, hearing me out, and your support on this move. Not unless you don't support it, and then you can let me know in the comments of the YouTube video. So yeah. So thank you so much for hearing me out. Thank you for the support. I could say this a million times over and probably not get too tired of saying it, because it means a lot. It means a lot to be able to do what you want to do, and to be able to, yeah, to do what you want to do, and have people appreciate it, I think is probably the best things, and I appreciate you. So yeah, so thanks for everything. I'm gonna circle so much. I'm gonna cut off now, and I'll catch you in a future video. Thanks for hearing me out. Bye bye.